Well, hello and welcome everyone. Awesome. We're seeing some people pop on into the chat and let us know where you're joining us from today. So wonderful to see you all with us. We are super excited about today's webinar. So welcome to our Ready, Set, Smart webinar series. We do have a special session webinar here for you all today, but we are going to be providing continuous opportunities throughout our series, our Ready, Set, Smart series. We're going to be highlighting how SMART can provide that fluid workflow that really benefits teachers and students. So we're going to show you today this brand new tool that we have in Lumio. We're so excited to dive into today, and we're going to be spending some time talking about the new Immersive Reader integration with Lumio. So for our webinar today, my name is Sarah Stork. I'm a professional development specialist from Pennsylvania, and I am joined by my colleagues here. So we have Ryan Roach with us.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan Roach. I am a SMART training specialist at SMART. I have a background in special education.
Wonderful. Thanks, Ryan. We're so glad you're here with us today. And we also have Melody Yu with us.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everybody. My name's Melody Yu. I'm a training specialist based out of Philadelphia, and my background was in elementary and early childhood education. So super excited to show you guys why Immersive Reader is so awesome today.
Yep, I'm super excited about it too. You know, we all have a background working with a variety of different students with all different, learning profiles. And I know my background as an educator, I worked with students with language-based learning disabilities like dyslexia and dysgraphia. And I just know that tools like Immersive Reader really just help support our students with a variety of different, learning abilities. So I'm so excited to dive on into this today. We really are going to encourage your participation. And if you have any questions, feel free to use that chat box and put those questions in there during the presentation. We may pause and answer questions as we go, or we'll kind of integrate those questions into the flow. We are going to be sharing some resources from today's webinar in the chat. And then also for participating today, a certificate will be provided after you complete that brief survey. We are going to dive on into today's webinar, Immersive Reader in Lumio. And our agenda for today, we are really going to be focusing on that introduction of what is Immersive Reader and how does this going to integrate with Lumio? How are your students going to be able to use Immersive Reader with the Lumio lessons you may already be using? We are going to show you how to navigate using Immersive Reader in your Lumio lessons. So as a teacher, how will you enable Immersive Reader? And then how will your students use Immersive Reader? And then we're going to give you a chance to really explore this tool. Using it with this example Lumio lesson that we have. So that's really going to be our focus for today. If you are new to Lumio and you're really curious about maybe how we built this lesson or kind of the how-to, we have an awesome launch into Learning with Lumio webinar coming up next week. So we would certainly invite you to come back for that webinar, and we are going to be sharing that registration link with you and all that information as well. All right, so we are going to, like I said, let's kind of dive on in. So what is Immersive Reader? So Immersive Reader is a tool in which it's going to give you a few different capabilities. When you or your students are using Immersive Reader, there's that text-to-speech feature, so it will read aloud text for your students. There's other tools in Immersive Reader, such as a picture dictionary. Students can also customize fonts. They can choose a font. There's some choices there for them, different color choices just based on what visually is going to help them learn. And then they can also customize the size of the text that they see on the page, as well as there's a few other tools in there that we are going to explore. So I'm excited to kind of dive into Immersive Reader and the different tools. But the other thing that's important for our multilingual students, it does support translations. So there are many languages that students can choose to translate the text. So it can really help, our learners, depending on whether they're, physical abilities or maybe their learning styles, or even to help our students who are learning multiple languages. All right, so like we said, we now have this amazing tool here just built right on into Lumio. It's seamlessly going to integrate into your lessons, and we will just take a quick peek here as to how do you enable Immersive Reader in Lumio, and then how are you going to be able to navigate, and then we're going to get you connected to this lesson so you can try it out for yourself and to really explore. So in order to enable Immersive Reader, the first time that you do log into Lumio after this new tool launch, you may see a pop-up that's announcing the new tool, and you can toggle on that Immersive Reader right there. However, what you can also do is manage Immersive Reader from your Lumio library. So I will jump into my Lumio library here in just a moment, back to my home page, and I'm going to go into that edit class option and then just toggle Immersive Reader on and off from there. So let me just end my lesson here for just a moment, and I am going to return to my home screen here. And as you can see, I have that edit class button in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to click here and then come down to the bottom option, manage Immersive Reader. And this is where I can select to toggle on Immersive Reader. Just note this is for live lessons. So when students connect to Hello Smart, I'm toggling on or off Immersive Reader for my class and my class settings. If students are accessing this lesson outside of class through that student share link, they will always have access to Immersive Reader. So it will be available for them. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that toggled on so we can explore that today. And if I hop back on into my lesson, I'm going to see the Immersive Reader option on the left side of the screen. So once you connect as a student here, we're going to get you connected as a student to my lesson, but you are going to be able to tap on that Immersive Reader option, and then you are going to see what text is available on the page to be read aloud. I will let you know that if you're bringing in resources in a PDF or PowerPoint or slides format, that will be coming in as an image. So the text that I'm adding here in Lumio is that interactive text box that will be read with Immersive Reader, just to kind of give you just a little bit more information there on how it's going to function in Lumio. All right, so I think I saw this information pop into the chat, but we'll pop it up here. If you would like to get your hands on using Immersive Reader right here and explore, we are going to hop into an example lesson, a few pages, so we can really dive on into using this tool. But go ahead to hellosmart.com. You can click join as a guest, and then my class ID is 12770. I see that that information is popped into the chat. So feel free to go ahead and join. I can see some people are joining on in. I'll leave this information here for just another moment and provide this class connection information if you would like to take a peek for yourself on what does this look like for a student. And that way you can go ahead and explore Immersive Reader on your end. So again, we're heading on over to hellosmart.com. You can just simply tap that join as a guest option for right now. And then my class ID is 12770. Like I said, I see it's there in the chat, so I think I am going to move on here in just a moment so we can continue on. But feel free to either watch my screen as I go, or feel free to connect so you can explore. Right, so I think I'm going to turn it on over to Ryan, and he's going to walk us through the next part here.
All right, awesome. So again, Sarah did a great job a couple moments ago, sort of showing you or letting you know what Immersive Reader can do. So we're going to sort of get that visual of Immersive Reader. So what we did here is we took a scenario on perspective taking. So to just a kind of a short summary of a scenario where we want the students just kind of get the perspective of a teacher and a student. So we have a graphic organizer that we made where you can kind of put your thoughts, feelings, and actions. But before we do that, we want you to read the passage. And basically what we can do is use Immersive Reader to have the text read to us. So there's a lot of multi-sensory tools that students can use, and we just want to sort of show you the visual. But really, before we get going, this really helps the student take charge, really builds confidence in the student where they don't have to wait for the teacher to come over and read them something. They can have Immersive Reader read this out as many times as they need. Again, students can access the information such as the objectives so they can go ahead and get started. As you'll notice on the left-hand side of the toolbar, again, that's where you'll see Immersive Reader. And once you click on Immersive Reader, now that will link you out. So you'll click on Immersive Reader, and then that will link you out to sort of another tab where you can have just the word read to you, or at the bottom, you can navigate where it says play. And when you click on play, you can start to have the text read to you. When you go over to the right-hand side, there's a little gear. It looks like a little you're able to change up the speed. You can slow it down. You can change up the voice selection if you want a female voice or a male voice, which is pretty cool as well. So students can speed it up or slow it down as they need. When you go up to the top, there are 3 different sections as well. So the first, the little A icon, is where you can have the text preferences, where you're able to make the text a little bit bigger. You can increase the spacings. You can turn that on and off. So that's great to help the students with the visual. We did use the Comic Sans font. That's a little bit easier for students to read. And then also you're able to change up the background. So this is great for sort of those students who suffer from low vision. You can change up the background to sort of help the students as well. You can also show the source formatting as well. So you can turn that off and on at the bottom. The second option, you have some more too to kind of help with parts of speech. So again, it can highlight the nouns and the verbs in the reading scenario that you're going over. So that really helps, again, those developing learners, primary students, and those language learners. And the part that I love the best is the last, a little picture. It looks like the little book. When you click on that, that gives you the options to help with the line focus. I remember being in school where we sort of, again, maybe put those rulers there for the students just to concentrate on that one line. So you're able to do just one line with the little check mark, or the 3 little lines there where you can able to do a couple of different lines there as well. You can also turn off the picture dictionary or turn that on. And as Sarah mentioned, there's over 100 languages that it could be transferred or translated to, again, to really help those language learners out as well. So it could be translated there as well. So there's, again, those multi-sensory tools that you can use to help learners of all abilities, maybe again with low vision, dyslexia. This is a great tool to sort of, again, help them build confidence, aid in their reading comprehension, and again, increase that reading fluency.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thanks, Ryan, for taking us on that little tour. You mentioned that picture dictionary, and I just love how if I click on this word think here, it's going to give me that picture, and I can even hear that word as well.
Yeah,
as I'm talking over it. But yeah, and there was a great question that came into the chat about different languages. And we did see under that little reading icon here that all these different languages, and many of those languages, it'll read those aloud as well. So wonderful.
And just to get back, you'll click that little arrow in the left-hand corner to get yourself back to your original page. And then they can have access to all those other tools as well that we're used to.
That's great. Great. All right. So now we are what are we going to do with this text? We are going to go ahead and continue on. So Melody, what do you have in store for us next?
Yeah, awesome. So this is just an accompanying activity with the previous story, which was pretty much about like a student and a teacher. So what we're having students do is take the perspective of those student and the teacher, and kind of note down some of those thoughts and feelings and actions. And you'll notice that when Sarah goes ahead and clicks on the immersive reader here, there are a bunch of text boxes that are highlighted instead. So in the previous page, you had one big text box, and what would happen is it would read through that whole thing. In this one, there are several. So you are able to go ahead and kind of split them up if you need to, kind of put them into smaller chunks for certain students, but it will have all of the same exact functions. So, you know, the picture dictionary, it'll read word by word, or you can have it read the whole thing at once, which is great for, you know, if you want students to be able to read the directions or listen to the directions. They're right there. They can press play and listen to it without you necessarily having to record it or tell them over and over again. As we know, students will sometimes do. They'll ask us, what are we doing? So this is a nice way to, have those directions read to them. Right now, we're going to go ahead and set this up as a workspace so that you guys can actually work on it in small groups. So no need to feel any kind of pressure with responding to the actual prompt. If you guys would just add, any kind of text box that says, hello, how are you? If you're not sure, what we want to show you is that those student contributions can also be read by the immersive reader. So we're going to give you like a minute or a few seconds here to go ahead and add a couple text boxes. But as you're doing that, Sarah's definitely adding hers as the teacher. Hopefully we'll see some others pop in. But what's really, really cool is this really allows students to go ahead and listen to each other's contributions as well. So the word teacher was just added by Sarah. And then I can see a couple of hellos. Make sure we're using so if you want your text to be read, you want to make sure you're using that text box. So somebody had added the word hello. You'll see that we're able to toggle on that immersive reader, click on the word, and we can go ahead and listen to it. There's another one that showed up, frustration, same thing. We're able to click on that and listen to it, which is really cool. So the students can listen to each other's contributions. This is great because when I was teaching, like first and second grade, I would often have students say like, what did so-and-so write on our poster? And, sometimes maybe that's interrupting a small group and you want them to be able to try and read it themselves. So they're able to do that. It's also really great for students to double check. So for example, if students have missed a word like, I don't know, like my name, Melody, right? And we're missing the word is. If a student has written my name, Melody, they can click on it, listen to it, and say, wait a minute, that doesn't sound quite right. And maybe they'll go back, retype, and add the word is. So it's a great way for them to kind of reflect and double check on their work as well.
Yeah, thanks, Melody. It's really making me think that this tool, I can use it for multiple purposes. I like that I have these individual text boxes because even if I add some maybe drag and drop text on the page for my students, or maybe if I'm using that infinite cloner tool, that they can interact with those different text boxes. And then even just like you said, it's not only where I'm reading the text and understanding and using that as that comprehension tool, but now it can help me with that writing piece too. If I'm adding text to a page, I can go back and listen. So awesome. Thank you all for these really great contributions. Awesome. You can see we're also using that audio feature that I know one that I love to use all the time, giving some students that voice sample of us being able to reread the passage or give them some directions and things like that. Wonderful. So let's kind of wrap up our lesson here. And what else do we have on this page, Melody?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the previous page, it was one of our graphic organizers where we customized it, added text, edited text, and then you guys were adding text boxes on your own. This is another ready-made resource. It's one of our ready-made exit tickets, and the text on here was already on there when we pulled it into our lesson, right? So even though it wasn't one that we edited and it wasn't one that we added ourselves, because it is a Lumio text box, you're still going to be able to listen to it, right? So if you're pulling in any activities that have Lumio text boxes from Explore Resources or maybe from Smart Exchange, the Immersive Reader will still be able to read those and recognize those as Lumio text boxes.
All right, so I'm going to hop in here and I see a question that just popped in. So I'm going to come in here and tap on that little book icon and maybe I'll select another language over here. Let me kind of toggle through, scroll through. Maybe I'll go ahead and pick French. And then you can choose for it to translate by word. And then if you do that, you can tap on the word and then I see that it'll translate to French right here. That's the per word option. If you go back up into that little book and you can actually toggle on that it'll translate the document. So if I tap to change it over to document, now the selection has been converted to, it's been translated into French, and now I can tap on that play feature and listen to it. So hopefully that kind of helped you. I know we didn't get into too much of those settings there, but if you come into that book, then you can go ahead and choose if it translates by word or also by the whole document. All right, there we go. And so if I come back in, here we go. I'm going to come back into that little picture, choose my language here, and then I can toggle that on right over there. Okay.
Looks like Sarah, looks like Jennifer had a question. So do the teachers have to, or whoever's using Immersive Reader, do they have to sort of go back in and have it adjusted each time to the language that they want?
So let me see. It looks like I'm coming into the book there, and I am selecting that language each time, and then selecting it over here each time I'm popping in. All right. So wonderful. Feel free to pop in some more questions. If you have any more questions about using Immersive Reader with Lumio, hopefully you kind of got a preview there of how you can use the tool. And we're certainly interested in how you think you might use this tool with students. But also, something to try as that takeaway here, go ahead and log in as a teacher to your Lumio account and toggle on that Immersive Reader use with students. We would encourage you to deliver a live lesson using Immersive Reader, or, share out a lesson with your students and let them know that that feature is there. And then encourage students to interact with the tool in a handout or in a workspace, right? So adding that text and putting it in. But awesome. So feel free, hey, pop into the chat and let us know, how you might use Immersive Reader. Hey, maybe we should even add a whiteboard right here. So let me go ahead and tap on that plus sign and just add a quick whiteboard. And let's turn this into a collaborative workspace. So anyone that's connected to the class, I'm going to turn this into a workspace here. If you just want to pop on in and let us know, how will you use this tool? Let me add that question here, or you can go on into the chat and let us know. All right, so pop on into that workspace, let us know in that whiteboard. And then, like we've been saying, once we start adding text here, we can go ahead and use that Immersive Reader tool and, or pop into the chat and let us know. Awesome. Yep. For differentiation, right? To meet our students where they are, right? Digital literacy brainstorming collaboration. Wonderful. All right.
Awesome
I'm gonna need to I'm gonna need to translate this one contribution to English. Let's see if I can go on in. There we go. So this is wonderful. Your global webinars, right? There we go. All right.
By document.
By document. There we go. All right. Whoop. All right. Creating those lessons. Awesome. All right. For our English language learners, all those different world languages. Wonderful. Love it. Thank you all for all the awesome ideas. Students who are working independently too, right? Those different learning styles and group projects. All right. Well, thank you all. We'll leave you with some resources today. So a few resources that we are going to be sharing out with you. If you head on over to this bit.ly link, Ready, Set, Lumio, we are going to be pasting this into the chat. I would encourage you to subscribe to our Lumio YouTube channel. So let me just hop in here for a second. Welcome to as new tools are being added to Lumio, come on back to this Lumio channel. There are already some short videos in here, how to use Immersive Reader or some of the other new integrations that we have. And we even have a playlist for what's new in Lumio. So I would encourage you to come on over to that channel. We also have some resources in here for training and instructional resources. Inside of these educator resources, right in this button, we have, you can register for more webinars to come join us, or if you're ready to just get started with Lumio or explore one of our other tools, We also have our Lumio toolkits here. So we have specific toolkits, for game-based learning or our English language learners or multi-language learning students. So lots of different ideas for you to kind of come back to. That was right in that instructional resources link there. We also have our link to register, again, like we said, for more webinars coming up. And we would encourage you to join our Smart Ambassador program. I know I see some people on the call and some of our ambassadors. So, shout out to our Smart Ambassadors. And we would encourage you to join that global community. It's a very active community of just some wonderful educators who it's just truly collaborative. So I would encourage you to check that out. And then if you have any questions, we can continue to stay on and answer any of those questions. Also, we'll be pasting this link in the chat for the survey, and you're welcome to copy and paste the link at the end of the survey to then access your certificate for attending. And we certainly want to thank you all for your time today and for joining us. It was certainly fun to explore a new tool and hear all of your wonderful ideas. All right, thank you. Thanks all.
Thank you.